Forecast First is brought to you by Fayette Heating and Air.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the weekend. Hope you had a great Friday. Weekend starting out with beautiful skies today. Late this evening, temperatures are still much above what we were talking about over the past couple of nights. Just about everybody still in the 50s, 40s out the door tomorrow afternoon. Low 70s with a partly cloudy sky. We'll see clouds increasing before the afternoon is through. That's on the leading edge of warmer and maybe stormier times that are ahead in the 7-day forecast. Just ahead on the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Kentucky is 1 month away from reopening to 100%. Hear from restaurant owners as the governor sets a new timeline to reopen.
It's been a long haul for restaurant owners for more than a year under those restrictions. We have their reaction to the upcoming changes and what it means for their businesses.
And UK Healthcare is closing its mass vaccine site at Kroger Field. What the plan is moving forward.
The Fox 56 10 o'clock news starts now.
Good evening. It has been 434 days since Kentucky's first case of COVID-19. Now we're just 28 days away from Kentucky being 100% open.
Governor Beshear announced restrictions will lift on June 11th, but some say all of this should have come sooner. Phil Pendleton has the latest on what the governor said and reaction from his critics, first on Fox.
This is a pretty great day.
A logo that's been preached for more than a year, but it's going away along with capacity restrictions. June 11th is that day.
Being this close to the end, I think back in some of the early projections and the numbers of people we thought that we'd lose.
Now with almost 2 million vaccinated, 53% of the state's population, and CDC guidance, the governor says on June 11th, the mask mandate will end for everyone and capacity returns to 100%.
By the grace of God, the COVID-19 vaccines have proven more effective at stopping death and serious illness and more effective at reducing the transmission of the virus than we ever could have expected.
Kentucky's Republican leadership has been very critical of the restrictions and the mandates, and they say that these restrictions should have been lifted a long time ago, citing what other states have done successfully and the fact that just 2 weeks ago we had the Kentucky Derby and there were no major outbreaks or flare-ups of COVID-19 from that.
I don't understand why he's waiting.
Senator Damon Thayer says businesses are hurting, especially restaurants.
They've been operating under limited capacity rules now for over a year. They had a couple of shutdowns to deal with. They can't find people to work.
But on Friday, an emotional day for several during the briefing, including Dr. Stephen Stack.
Walking into the Capitol this morning is the first time I think all of us have seen each other's faces without masks in a long time.
The governor says the last 14 months have been hard, but is optimistic the next 14 will be a lot better. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
The mask mandate remains in effect for the unvaccinated, schools, hospitals, long-term care facilities, and correctional institutions.
Restaurants have been some of the hardest hit during the pandemic, so going back to a pre-pandemic normal is long awaited. Victor Puente talked to restaurant owners who say they're excited, but know there is a lot of work to get done.
One of the owners at Shamrocks on Patchen told me they were pretty happy when they heard the news, but things may not look the same on June 11th.
Well, I would say bittersweet. We've been waiting for that day for a long time, for 14 months probably. Our problem now is we're understaffed, so we're about 60% capacity and we're about 60% staff right now.
Reed told me they've increased their outside dining areas, so unless they're able to hire additional workers, they won't really be able to set up new tables inside. He also anticipates their to-go orders will continue to stay strong, something that really took off during the pandemic.
We've implemented new to-go systems since last March, and I don't think they're going away. I think people will still be a little hesitant to come out.
To-go dining was the only option for the owner of Bourbon and Toulouse. Kevin Heathcote told me their small dining room meant social distancing wasn't possible. As they prepare for people to come back inside, they're going to continue growing their to-go business. They're actually in the middle of a construction project to add a window to the outside.
During the pandemic, the restaurant game has changed, and we're trying to change with it. We're doing construction so that we can continue on doing curbside, but also safely allow diners to come back inside and dine with us.
These owners know they have a lot of work to do over the next 4 weeks. They're also asking for a little bit of patience.
I know every industry has been hurt the last 14 months, but the restaurant industry is definitely hurting. We're still hurting. We're understaffed. We're trying the best we can. You're seeing owners cooking. You're seeing owners waiting tables right now. Just be patient with us.
We've all been talking for a long time about what that first customer come through the door is going to look like, and it's going to feel really weird. But we're very excited for it to happen, and I bet that very first person gets a free plate of food because we're excited to see them.
Victor Puente for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Owners say between now and June 11th, they can't really enforce the mask mandate for their customers. They say they're just going to have to assume if someone isn't wearing a mask that they are vaccinated.
Trader Joe's is one of the first major retailers to drop its mask requirement. The grocery chain announced online that it is no longer requiring masks for people who are fully vaccinated. Costco and Walmart did the same. Despite the new CDC guidelines, businesses still have the right to require masks. We reached out to several national chains in the area. We've heard back from Kroger and Meijer, who say they will continue requiring masks for the time being. The Kentucky Retail Foundation released a statement about reopening. In it, they say they're looking forward to June 11th and having a chance to reopen the state's economy. But they also want to encourage everyone to be considerate of individual store policies.
Kentucky has now crossed 1.9 million vaccinations.
More than 5,500 Kentuckians received their vaccine yesterday, and Governor Beshear says 43% of the entire state is now vaccinated. That number goes up to 80% for people 65 and older. The state today also reported 558 new cases and 6 new deaths. The positivity rate is down again to 3%. All 3 Bob Baffert trained horses, including Derby winner Medina Spirit, have been cleared to race this weekend at Pimlico. The first 2 blood samples drawn last week were all clear. The 3rd sample, taken on Monday, returned today. 4 bettors filed a class action lawsuit in California yesterday against Bob Baffert and the owners of Medina Spirit. The bettors are suing Baffert for racketeering and fraud, alleging that Medina Spirit's win in the Derby constituted illegal gambling. While the tests are clear, it's not yet been determined if Medina Spirit will remain the Kentucky Derby winner.
At least 1 person is dead after a crash in Montgomery County. It happened after 5 on Spencer Road near the bypass. We know a school bus was involved, and dispatchers say it collided with another car. We're working to learn if the fatality involved someone on the bus or in the car. We've reached out to the sheriff and the coroner for more information and are waiting to hear back.
A Winchester man is charged after police found a woman shot at an apartment building. Police arrested 39-year-old Stephen McGuire and charged him with murder. Officers told us he admitted to shooting a woman. Officers were called to an apartment building at 40.5 North Main Street at 4:30 this afternoon. That's where they found 34-year-old Sheila Smith shot in a hallway. They say she later died. Police found McGuire in an apartment. We don't yet know what led up to the shooting.
Today is the last day you could get a vaccine at Kroger Field. The clinic that's vaccinated thousands of Kentuckians in the last few months is closing.
UK Health is now adjusting its vaccine plans as the demand for the shot slows. Jim Stratman was there today and talked to a mother and daughter about why they rolled up their sleeves.
The mass vaccination site out here at Kroger Field has had a profound impact on the vaccine rollout so far. 240,000 doses of a vaccine have been given out since this location opened up in January. And it also played a pivotal role in vaccinating K through 12 educators near the beginning of this rollout. Officials say that it has served its purpose well, but at this point, it's just time for a change.
You know, at our maximum capacity, we were vaccinating close to 5,000 people a day. We've seen a decrease of about three quarters of the number of vaccines we were requested that we were seeing at our highest peak.
Lance Poston is UK's Assistant Vice President for Student Success and is one of 5 board members who has overseen UK's vaccine distribution since the rollout began.
And we made the decision similarly based on demand to transition that site after today to some smaller additional sites.
Officials say that move will help streamline the distribution for staffing and logistics while making sure that everyone who wants a shot, like Kara Nizer and her mom Mary Beth, can get one.
It was fast, easy. She had no problem. She's excited. I never thought I'd see the day she'd clap over getting a shot.
Kara is 12 years old, so they had to wait for the Pfizer vaccine to be authorized by the FDA and the CDC. But she says she was looking forward to getting a shot.
I was excited because I haven't been able to do a lot of stuff recently, and I want to go back to school.
Poston says that the vaccination site isn't going away per se, just like the importance of the vaccine isn't going away.
I'd use transition, right? We're transitioning to continue to meet the need, and as we'll continue to do.
Reporting in Lexington, Jim Stratman for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Beginning Wednesday, May 19th, UK vaccinations will be offered at Alumni Park Plaza and University Health Pharmacy. The Bluegrass Classic Sheepdog Trials is back in Kentucky.
More on how the event is different this year after a year off due to the pandemic.
And for the first time since 2019, UK graduates walk across the stage at Rupp Arena. Later, we hear how much today means to them.
And as we make our way into the upcoming weekend, temperature trend is up, but the storm chances start to go up as well. I've got the hour-by-hour forecast to help you plan anything outdoors just ahead.
A Lexington chef is helping women who have been in jail get back on their feet by teaching them culinary skills.
It all goes down in the kitchen at Smithtown Food Chain. Chef Angelia Drake shares what she knows about cooking to 4 women who have been dealing with incarceration, drug abuse, and homelessness. The women get paid to cater for seniors in the city. Chef Angelia says it feels good to give back because she, too, has been behind bars.
It's very rewarding because I can remember being in the same situation and feeling helpless and hopeless, and I just felt very rewarded that I can help someone else.
Today, the group prepared 120 meals.
Lexington Parks and Rec has announced a new outdoor concert series for the summer. It's called Northside Nights. The new series will feature R&B, soul, and dance music. It will be held Thursdays from 7 to 8:30. The series runs from June 3rd to July 29th. June's concerts will be held at Castlewood Park, and July's will be at Douglas Park. The concerts are free.
This weekend, the Bluegrass Classic Sheepdog Trials is back in Kentucky for its 60th anniversary. Last year, it had to be canceled because of the pandemic.
Even with a smaller crowd, it has already been quite a success. Allie Blake has details on the trials.
For 100 dogs, probably about 175 total handlers. I brought 2 dogs. Some people bring 10 dogs. It just kind of varies on person and how far you're traveling.
The Kentucky Border Collie Association's Bluegrass Classic has brought in dogs and handlers of all ages and experience levels here to Kentucky. Mariana Schroeder, president of the Kentucky Border Collie Association, is pleased so far with the turnout.
It's just evolved from a smaller 2-3 day trial to a 5-day event. We have 2 fields running at the same time.
While last year's event was canceled because of the pandemic, they're absolutely ecstatic to have it held this year.
Oh, we're thrilled. We're thrilled. The first night we had a big meeting for all the handlers on Tuesday evening, and I think everybody cheered because I said, we're going to have a dog trial. And we have.
The events are separated into 5 different classes based on experience and age of the dog. The dogs and handlers are then scored based off of the success of herding the animals.
Well, Border Collies, they've been bred and trained for over 200 years, only for their instinct.
This event is free to the public all weekend long, and you can even bring your best behaved dog as well.
Allie Blake for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Not only can you come out to watch the events, there will also be food trucks, merchandise, and a silent auction.
Good-looking Friday. That is wrapping up your weekend, kind of half and half. It's not a completely awesome weekend. Wait, it's the weekend. Yeah, it's awesome. Weather-wise, it's not going to be completely awesome. We will get in on a scattered shower, thunderstorm Saturday night, Sunday. Live view into downtown Lexington, 54 degrees. Cool spot is Danville at 50 as of right now. Monticello not too far behind, but the temperature trend right now versus 24 hours ago, you can see most areas are right at or a little above what we were talking about at this same point last night. Lexington, we've had back-to-back mornings into the upper 30s. We're going to break that streak tomorrow. 40s out the door, low 70s with a nice afternoon that takes shape. Fox radar picture, just a little bit of some cloud cover showing up on the satellite because the radar has nothing on it. Satellite shows the clouds, so I've put that into the mix just to give me something to talk about. Otherwise, you got to go back here to the Plain States where we've got some thunderstorms across a wavy cold front here into sections of Kansas. Some of that stuff going to roll its way farther toward the east, but not until late in the day tomorrow. Does that impact western Kentucky? Watch the future radar and satellite. If you're up and at 'em 8 in the morning, looks really, really good. Noontime tomorrow, beautiful day. Now the clouds will thicken as the day wears on, winds will begin to gust up too. A shower or thunderstorm is possible tomorrow evening and into the overnight. And that stuff is awfully kind of puny, few and far between to start out the day on Sunday. We got a scattering of some showers and storms. This is not washout type stuff, but we are going to see the temperatures climbing with much warmer days ahead, and those rounds of some thunderstorms that will begin to kick in later Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe even into Wednesday of next week. Here's a little different perspective on the hour by hour. Pick out the number that is closest to where you live, follow along, and then watch our timeline. Through the overnight tomorrow morning, 40s. Tomorrow, middle of the day, pushing close to 70 already. We're likely to hit the upper 60s and low 70s for just about the entire region into the afternoon. Notice we are 70 to 75 across the western parts of the state. Any shower tomorrow evening, fairly isolated. Through the day on Sunday, a little better opportunity now for a scattering of showers and thunderstorms. Even here, this is not all day stuff we're talking about. Then through Sunday night into Monday, better opportunities for some showers and storms to begin to kick up a little bit across central and eastern Kentucky, and that would set the stage for a pattern that would be conducive for these waves of some showers and storms to work on through the area. Rainfall numbers, just watch this continue to accumulate as we go through Wednesday. But if you notice what we're dealing with on this particular map, we looked at this last night too, where it had the higher totals instead of from Indy over toward Columbus. Last night had those a little farther to the south. So we'll see exactly how this works out. Again, computer models, thunderstorms, they don't often get along too well. They like to fight it out a little bit. Upper 60s, low 70s next couple of days. From there, it does get better. Storm chances will be around, guys, just about every day next week. The lower the storm chances appear to be Thursday, Friday. You know what happens then? The higher the temperatures. We may make a run at 80. I'm afraid to say that too loud because I think Mother Nature may hear me and just pull the rug out from under it. That would be our first 80 of the year in Lexington.
We'd like to see it. Thank you, Chris.
Well, it is a natural instinct to want to protect your children.
But they're not always the one who need protecting. Next in the spotlight, the split-second decision a California dad was forced to make. Welcome back. A Chicago cat is in the spotlight tonight.
It is sure making use of its 9 lives. The Chicago Fire Department sharing this video taken at an apartment building fire Thursday afternoon. Whoa. That's a black cat jumping out of the burning building and landing right on its feet and walking away. Emergency crews confirmed that the cat walked away without any major injuries. I did see an update today, though, that it hasn't been seen since. So yeah, it just kept on walking, said, nope.
They always say cats land on their feet. I guess even when they jump on their own, there's proof. Yeah.
It's thinking about what happened somewhere, just not at that apartment building.
Yeah. Well, a French electro artist took his talents to new heights in Switzerland. The artist, dubbed Tiho, performed nearly 10,000 feet above sea level on a peak in the Swiss Alps. The performance took place last month and was closed to the public due to the coronavirus pandemic. Tiho spoke more about the hard work that went into the performance as a whole. The show was organized by a music production company notable for developing performances in strange and unusual places.
Wow, the views he had while he was up there. And how did he keep his hands from getting cold?
Yeah, they said it was closed to the public. I think it would have been hard for the public to get there anyway.
Oh, well, good for him. It's a pretty sight.
Well, a very grateful father in California is talking about the incident in which he helped police take his son into custody.
It happened April 29th in Sacramento. Police responded to a call of a person who had jumped a fence into a backyard and also tried to open a door to the home. Officers had calmed the situation down when the suspect's father showed up, and in a split second, the suspect lunged at a female officer and began attacking her.
I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry it happened, not with just me, but my child, but all the things that are going on in this world right now. And I thank you for being strong and courageous and not doing what you should have done, probably, was shot that kid. I thank you for that. And just be well. Like the lieutenant told me, be well.
Gosh, your heart breaks for him. Officers used a taser on the suspect and were able to handcuff him with the father's help.
Yeah, no more heartfelt thanks than that.
Yeah, gosh, it's got to feel good to those officers who did find themselves in a split-second decision.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, could have turned out much differently. And that's what's in the spotlight tonight.
Fully vaccinated people can finally ditch their masks.
See how people and business owners are dealing with the changes. We'll be right back. Small businesses have faced challenge after challenge during the pandemic, and the relaxed guidance on masks and other protocols is the news they've been waiting for.
As Chad Hedrick shows us, some Georgetown shops are embracing the return to normalcy, while others are waiting before easing up on their mask policies.
Take a drive down Main Street in Georgetown and you can't help but notice the dozens of local shops, many, if not all, who have struggled during the pandemic.
I mean, you know, traffic's been down. People have been fearful to get out. Sales have been slow.
Tina Peffer owns all that and more. Friday was a day she wasn't sure would ever come when she took down her signs that said masks were required in her shop.
I did. I took it down this morning. I came in. I'm like, yay, we're back to normal.
But down the block at Cravens and Lewis Jewelers, they're not rushing to make any changes yet.
We usually are going to wait till several days after things to see how it settles out, see what our customers are asking for, where they want to, because if they come in without a mask, we will not reject them. We just go on with it. I will probably keep mine on for a while.
The biggest question for shop owners is how they can tell if a maskless customer really has been vaccinated. Tina says she does have some concerns about unvaccinated people coming into her shop and potentially spreading COVID to others.
Well, for me and the people who work here, we're vaccinated, and I was still wearing a mask when it was mandated more to protect the people who were not. So if people are coming in who are not vaccinated, what they're doing is they're exposing other non-vaccinated people.
Tina says they're still doing some sanitizing throughout the day, saying she wants to be smart as business picks up.
We're going to ease up a little bit on it, yeah. We definitely will. I mean, we're not going to be crazy stupid about things, but it's just we're not going to have to be as stringent as we were, though.
Putting the past 14 months behind them and opening up shop to brighter days on Main Street. In Georgetown, Chad Hedrick for the Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
For the first time in months, people are able to ditch their masks. Shelby Lofton talked to people in downtown Lexington to find out how they're handling the change.
Some people are feeling more free walking the streets of downtown Lexington.
Yeah, when I'm outside, I don't really think too much of it.
While some are still sporting the face covering, others are happy to see another smiling face.
Now it's kind of cool to get out and see people out walking around doing stuff.
Many said they'll keep one handy for a while.
I don't know if I'm like fully ready to go inside with a bunch of people I don't know without a mask.
Mark Hanks decided to celebrate finishing his taxes with a hot dog, even though the restaurant sign said masks required only if unvaccinated. He said ending this habit feels strange.
I put it back on. And then I saw the girls working behind the counter didn't have them. I thought, well, if they're comfortable with that, I am too.
After 14 months of taking his meals to go, he celebrated the news with strangers.
No, I wouldn't do this a year ago, probably even with mask on.
While the majority of people said they're excited to ditch the mask, others said not so fast.
I hope it's more encouraging for people to get vaccinated, but I also don't want us to take a step back.
Many folks said they'll carry one as a courtesy.
I'll likely always, I guess, just carry one in case I'm around people who are uncomfortable or if a place happens to require a mask.
Kentuckians said this move feels like we've reached the tail end of COVID, but it's hard to let go of old ways.
It's exciting, but it's scary at the same time.
Mixed feelings with a lot of relief. In Lexington, Shelby Lofton, Fox 56 10 o'clock news.
Many people she talked with say that they plan to approach this change like the governor said he will be, taking a look at crowds and deciding how comfortable they feel.
You can now keep up with all the news on our new Fox 56 mobile app. The app allows you to have the latest headlines and breaking news alerts at your fingertips. It's available for both Apple and Android devices.
Investigators are accusing a Montgomery County man of giving drugs to children through a fake youth support group.
Mount Sterling police arrested Richard McFadden and Phyllis Maston. McFadden told them he was hosting a youth Bible study at an antique store, but police say he was giving the teens marijuana and alcohol. He's also accused of sexually abusing some of them. Maston is charged with unlawful transaction with a minor. Mount Sterling police are asking victims or anyone with information to come talk to them.
In Boyle County, a man is arrested and charged with burglary. Deputies say Jacob Glass broke into a home and assaulted a woman in front of her small children. They say Glass was caught after he briefly ran from them. Glass is charged with second-degree burglary, fourth-degree assault, endangering a minor, and DUI.
Check out this crazy crash video. No one was hurt because no one was in either car. This is a controlled demonstration hosted by the Georgetown Police Department. Police agencies from across the state work through a 6-week traffic crash reconstruction class. The training helps officers figure out exactly what happened during a wreck by using measurements, data, and pictures.
Because a serious crash, or a fatality, a lot of those can be very hard to reconstruct. Especially if you get to court and things like that, you want to make sure you have the best detailed report that you can put together.
Georgetown police say they deal with 15 to 20 serious or fatal crashes a year. So far, nearly 70 officers throughout the state have gone through the reconstruction training.
The father of the Estill County baseball coach killed in an accident at home will help lead the team in the remainder of their season. Brian Crow will serve as the head coach. His son Blake Crow was killed in an accident at his home over the weekend. Blake took leadership of the team after Brian retired before COVID. Practice for the team begins again this weekend. This year was set to be Blake's first full season coaching. Coach Crow leaves behind a wife and 2 children. You can find the link to a GoFundMe created for his family on foxlexington.com. A Madison County woman has won her long fight against COVID. Friends and family of Olivia Tudor organized a parade through Waco to celebrate her return home. The 30-year-old has been hospitalized since November. With a compromised immune system, Tudor's grandmother says she became extremely sick very quickly. She spent months in a coma. But Tudor defied the odds and is finally back home.
It was a miracle. I mean, she in the hospital, not expected to make it, and then the prayer warriors, we've got a group of them. There's a bunch of them.
Groups of friends and family line the route home for Tudor from the bypass all the way to her neighborhood.
Celebrating students after a hard year like no other, UK graduates are once again walking across the stage at Rupp Arena. Today through Sunday, the University of Kentucky will be recognizing graduates at 10 separate graduation ceremonies. Graduates also started in their seats, which were spaced out across the floor. Then after they walked across the stage, they walked right out of Rupp Arena to celebrate with family.
Just walking across the stage, getting my diploma, that was probably one of the highlights of my life.
We all graduated. That's the best part.
Graduates from the class of 2020 were also invited to take part in this weekend's celebrations. The Colonial Pipeline says fuel is once again flowing to all markets.
But as of now, gas shortages persist. The latest ahead in News Notes.
And later, there may now be a face to go with a famous voice. Why a journalist is sure he's found Alexa.
A number of states across the country are still feeling the effects of the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack.
That tops tonight's Fox 56 News Notes. In North Carolina, 60% of stations have no fuel. In D.C., more than 80% of stations are dry. The national average price for a gallon is $3.04, up 10 cents in a week. There are reports of price gouging as high as $10 a gallon. Colonial Pipeline restarted operations Wednesday at 5 p.m. Yesterday, it was fully operational, moving gas through the pipeline at 5 miles per hour to all markets along the East Coast. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says things should return to normal within days.
The White House says it is committed to working toward de-escalation in the Mideast. This as the fighting between Israel and Gaza's militant Hamas rulers rages on. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the Biden administration is monitoring the situation closely and many conversations are occurring behind the scenes. This comes as the UN is calling for a ceasefire in the area.
The city of Columbus, Ohio will pay a $10 million settlement to the family of Andre Hill. The Hill family says they're happy with the results of their civil suit, but still want justice for Andre. The 47-year-old was shot by an officer in December as he walked out of a garage while holding a cell phone. Officer Adam Coy has pleaded not guilty to murder and reckless homicide charges. The shooting was recorded on Coy's body camera.
2 days after ousting Congresswoman Liz Cheney from her position as House Republican Conference Chair, GOP lawmakers have found her replacement. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik of New York was elected to serve. Stefanik had the endorsement of former President Trump. Democrats largely denounced the decision, coming to Liz Cheney's defense and arguing she's speaking the truth about President Trump and his role in the January 6th riot at the Capitol.
Coming up in sports, the Kentucky baseball team opened up an important series against South Carolina.
Plus, Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit is eligible to run in the Preakness. Lee Kay has the latest.
Well, late this evening, we're down into the 50s for many areas. We got one spot now in the 40s. That is the thermometer here in Mount Sterling at 48 degrees, 54 Lexington, Moorhead at 57 degrees. Most of us, again, are going to run above last night's 30s. We've had back-to-back mornings where temperatures were down into the mid and upper 30s in much of central and eastern Kentucky. A little bit of cloud cover if you're out this evening. You notice that. That is highlighting or on the leading edge of some warmer air that is beginning to take hold of the pattern. Thankfully, finally. We do have a cold front off to the northwest of us. It's active. It's got some showers and thunderstorms with it here across parts of Kansas over toward the Denver area where they had some severe weather into sections of Colorado today on a week that started out with snow on the ground. So everybody's trying to flip the script right now towards some better conditions. Hour by hour future radar satellite in here as well. If you're up and early tomorrow morning, not a whole lot cranking. Noontime tomorrow, not a whole lot going on. We will see some clouds into the afternoon. There's one shower or two possible tomorrow night. The majority of the scattered stuff comes at us on Sunday. But listen, this is not a washout of a Sunday. So if you've got something planned outdoors on Sunday, you just have to pick and choose based on what the radar looks like in relation to what you're picking and choosing and where you're picking and choosing it at. I know it's complicated. 70, 75. Early next week, I do think we hit 80 before next week is over.
Time now for the Fox 56 Sports Extra.
After 3 rounds of drug testing, Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has been cleared to run in Preakness 146 on Saturday. The third and final test was returned from Maryland this evening, clearing both Bob Baffert trained horses, Medina Spirit and Concert Tour. Additional tests and monitoring were also conducted as part of the condition of entry agreement by Baffert and the Maryland Jockey Club. Well, much of the focus for Saturday's Preakness has been on the Baffert horses, but the new betting favorite for Preakness is Midnight Bourbon, who could give trainer Steve Asmussen his third Preakness win. Midnight Bourbon missed the break in the Kentucky Derby and finished in a disappointing 6th place, but Asmussen believes that won't happen in a smaller field.
He's exciting to be around. You know, he's extremely physical. He's just a gorgeous horse to watch. And like I said, we're very optimistic as horsemen, and less than 2 weeks after the disappointment we had in the Derby, here we are thinking we're crazy enough to think we can do it again.
Kentucky baseball hosting South Carolina for the final home series of the regular season. The Wildcats likely needing to take 2 of 3 from the Gamecocks in order to get off the NCAA tournament bubble. But South Carolina wasting no time swinging the bats and building the early lead at Kentucky Proud Park. Braylon Wimmer jumps on the Cole Stupp offering and sends it down the right field line. That'll score 2. It's 4-0 Carolina in the first. Wildcats get a few back in the bottom of the third, now 4-2 when Araj Anu finds some open turf in left center, bounces over the fence. That's a ground rule double to make it a 1-run game. But South Carolina responds with 3 runs of their own in the 4th inning. Gamecocks double up the Cats, 12-6. Rowan County 2 sports star Mason Moore choosing baseball over basketball this afternoon, and Moore signing with UK. The senior pitcher choosing the Cats over Louisville, West Virginia, Xavier, and Cincinnati. This year, Moore has 57 strikeouts in 27 2/3 innings with an ERA of 0. He's excited to be a Wildcat.
UK is always where I've wanted to go. You know, I've always been a fan of UK athletics. You know, it's your hometown, so I just want to make everybody here proud. And, you know, UK, I feel like was the best fit for me and my family. The main thing would be my mentality. You know, I want to go out there and compete. You know, I want to show everybody what I can do. And if I'm struggling, you know, I'm still going to throw strikes. I'm still going to go out there and do the best I can.
EKU alum and Pikeville native Murray Garvin has been named the new head boys basketball coach at Dunbar High School. Garvin spent the last 9 seasons as the head coach at Division I South Carolina State and was named the MEAC Coach of the Year back in 2016. After playing high school ball at Pikeville, Garvin is back in the Bluegrass and calls this job a dream come true.
I look forward to it. A lot of people don't understand that coaching college and coming to high school, how could this have been your dream? Well, my high school coach is sitting in the crowd, and he's the very reason that I got into coaching basketball. And all I ever wanted to do was to serve the community like he did and what he did for me as a youth.
And that's a look at sports. Stay tuned for 5 things to know before you go to bed, including how that Birkin bag that Kristen wanted is probably just a little bit more out of reach.
A retailer pulls the plug on Pokemon, getting more bucks for your Birkin, and Alexa revealed.
Here are 5 things to know before you go to bed.
She's your go-to for information, internet searches, and more. And now the person behind the Amazon Alexa voice may have been uncovered. A journalist says he searched through the works of various voice actresses until he stumbled upon one he says sounds just like Alexa. The voice reportedly belongs to a Colorado-based voice actress and singer named Nina Roll. No one from Amazon or Roll's team has confirmed this finding, but Stone says her voice is, quote, unmistakable.
Target is pulling Pokemon and sports trading cards from its shelves. The retail chain will no longer carry these collector's items in stores nationwide following a recent fight outside a location in Wisconsin. Customers are supposed to be limited to just one. The fight ultimately led to the victim pulling out a gun to scare away the attackers.
A bear makes himself at home in a Northern California neighborhood. The black bear apparently made its way out of the woods in Marin County Thursday and found a nice perch for a view in one family's tree. Locals gathered on site for the rare look before authorities secured the scene for safety. Eventually, the bear scampered back into the more natural open spaces.
One of America's oldest car companies is taking some technological steps into the future. Some of Ford's newer models will be getting over-the-internet software updates. About 100,000 2021 F-150s, Mustang Mach-E's, and Broncos will see new features such as in-car gaming and a new version of Amazon Alexa.
The COVID-19 pandemic isn't affecting Birkin bag prices. In fact, prices for the Hermes handbags have reached record highs. According to auction house Christie's, one of its 2 highest-selling handbags in history was a Birkin made of crocodile skin that sold for nearly $390,000 last November. There you go. 5 things to know before you go to bed.
Into our weekend, we roll with better weather across the region in terms of temperatures. Low 70s. Saturday looks really good. Could be an evening shower. Most of us stay dry. Even on Saturday, guys, this is not a washout with just scattered stuff around.
All right.
Warm up begins. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.
Good night.